Dave Poplar, tell us where we should start.
I love talking about William Carlos Williams's lines along with Between Walls. I think those two poems go pretty nicely together.
Let's just do lines.
Okay.
Let's just do lines. Would you read lines? And I'm going to ask Jake and Bob Perlman to respond to those
Lines.
tiny little poem.
Lines. Leaves are gray-green, the glass broken bright green.
And read it one more time.
Leaves are gray-green, the glass broken bright green.
Jake, some people might say, what the hell? How does that pass for a poem? It's 2 lines. It doesn't really say anything. And how would you make a rejoinder to that?
I want to just like this morning think a little bit about what it means for a poet to exercise this degree of removal, you know, of a kind of a lyrical self, of one's own biography and kind of like feelings that are kind of like out there and explicit, and what that removal feels like. You can almost like palpably feel the absence, even as of course it's informing everything that's in those 2 lines. There is a mood that's in those 2 lines, and then of course there's like just messiness of like gray green, one word, and then bright green. It almost feels like a sloppy rhyme, but of course it's not, from gray green to bright green. Yeah, just some first thoughts.
Cool. Can you say, before we turn to Bob, can you say more about the removal? Are you saying that Williams is pretending or trying or fantasizing about looking at something objectively?
Well, I don't know if it's a matter of objectivity, but just trying to almost impassionately describe what's visible, describe the image. It's powerful to just like try to state what's out there, whether or not there is kind of like a pretense or aspiration towards objectivity. Just watching or trying to observe intensely.
Bob Perlman, were you ever so naive a poet as to think you could see something and simply describe it that precisely as this?
Oh gosh, no. It's funny. No, I don't think I ever was. I mean, I'm suddenly reminded of the first poet I ever read, Whitman, and you know, as a teenager, I thought, oh, this is, you know, a fantastic description. And then reading him over the next, all these decades, you just realize how much of his self is in there. But I took it for description at first. So I think at the beginning, you know, it's really hard to tell your own feelings apart from, it's hard to really tell subjectivity and objectivity apart, I think, at the beginning of things. About this poem, though, this strikes me as very conscious on William's part, and that this is the time when there seems like a dual impulse in the Pound Williams, the various circles, the modernist circles back then. There's the impulse toward epic and doing the really big poem that I think stirred a lot of poets. But also there's the, this is another kind of goal to achieve, the very, very short poem. I mean, this isn't just all he wrote. This is a kind of an act to make it this short. It's a very strong gesture. It's not just an accident. It's a provocation, you might say.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And you know, just to piggyback on one thing that Jake said about the gray green, I think it's deliberately, it's a faux naive, the green semi rhyme there. But what he's doing with the words, combining words like gray green, which in Williams of this period, this is a kind of avant-garde gesture to write gray-green as one word. And it blurs the colors. And then on the next line, you have the broken glass, and you have all these broken words, 5 little broken words in bright green, broken open. So it's mimicking the shards.
That's right.
Of glass, I think.
Which is why Dave thought of Between Walls in association with it. Thank you both, Jake and Bob and Dave, for choosing that poem.